Jai Hind everyone. I'm Dr. Akash from the Department of Applied Science and Humanities and will be delivering a lecture today on the subject of rural development and administration and planning. And the topic for the lecture today is dimensions of human resource development for rural development via basic amenities, population and population composition. We'll be discussing at length. We'll try to just go into the slide details of the topic with reference to the basic need of the rural population to enhance their ability to perform better and collaborate with the system in order to ensure their full development for the development and growth of the society. The topic will be discussed are as follows: introduction, dimension of human resource development, access to basic amenities, nutritional status, population composition, factors affecting population distribution, demographic dividend, and importance of demographic dividend. We will be trying to just have a preliminary idea of all the topics as mentioned. The notion of human resource development dimension is very complicated as it has interconnections with several approaches and has involvement of variables of multiple nature. The human resource development dimensions occupy a central position in the geographical study of rural area, and it is basically a basis upon which other kind of development for peace and prosperity of population of rural depend. The dimension basically refers to constituents, element or characteristics of human resource. The various human resource dimensions are health, education, skill development, training and nutritional status. Health, as we all know, is one of the major determinant and most important factor that defines the avenue of performance and ability to work, think and perform for as the individual perspective is concerned, as well as for the benefit of the society. Human Development Report has considered health as a dimension of population and stressed that the assessment of its essential is in the progress of human resource development. Health as a dimension consists both the physical and mental health of an individual. Physical dimension refers to the state of the body, its composition, development, function and maintenance, etc. And mental dimension refers to the right, fit and healthy creative ability of mind. Both these dimensions of health are the essential components of human resource development and which play an instrumental role in every kind of physical and intellectual growth of an individual. Health is an important indicator of human resource development because an improvement in the health promote learning, improve stamina and increase energy output of the individual, thereby making an individual confident to perform, learn and contribute towards the development of the society. Education. The Human Development Report has also considered education as the dimension of population and stressed that the assessment of it is essential in the progress of human resource development. Education is important for rising or developing knowledge, skills, talent, attitude, aptitude, awareness and other creative ability of individual persons. Education is one of the most important characteristics of qualitative dimension of human resource and it enhances knowledge, skills, interest, attitude and other inherent quality of people. It is essentially a means of enhancing, upgrading, improving and increasing the status of mental or intellectual capacity such as learning, memory, reasoning, thinking, competence and other intellectual capacity of an individual, thereby giving new vistas in eradicating poverty and mental isolation of the people in the society. So therefore, it basically defines the avenue and ambits of the individual for developing their self-confidence, so that they can understand that to what extent they can contribute to the society. Skill development, as far as skill development is concerned, Human Development Report has considered skill development as the dimension of population, and instead that the assessment of it is essential in the progress of human resource development. Skill development is the process of developing intellectual physical capability of individual for use in socially productive spheres to serve the needs of the people in society at large. It is a qualitative dimension of human resource development, and thereby skill development becomes very vital for developing knowledge, talent, attitude, awareness, and other creative ability of individual. It can take place through formal and non-formal learning process. As far as the most important aspect, the active contribution of the individual to the society or the societal development is concerned, training plays one of the major role. As far as the Human Development Report considered training as a dimension of population, and it stressed that the assessment of it is essential in the progress of human resource development. Training is the qualitative dimension of human resource development and take place through formal and non-formal learning process. It helps in development of experience, knowledge, talent, etc. of an individual. It leads to develop skills in an individual, which leads to create entrepreneurial skill in the individual, and thereby it facilitates employment generating ability in the economy. This is the most important aspect that we need to cater. We need to focus on the aspect of ensuring better training to our youth, so that they can become a part in the process of development and ensure the sustainable development of the nation at large. Now, access to basic amenities, what the topic is all about, are the things which considered to be essential to make life easier and more pleasant, such as road, running water, sanitation facilities, and drainage arrangement, housing, as well as electricity. That means we are all talking about in this concept all these structural things, in structural basic amenities needs to be provided to the people, so that they find themselves to be in a positive frame of mind, that they are able to use the facility, the basic facilities that must be provided by the government to the people. The social life and living condition in rural areas and its change process are linked to availability of basic amenities. The living condition of the common people reflects the socio-economic, political, and environmental development of a country. It is worthy to note that access to basic amenities like drinking water, sanitation, electricity, housing, and other crucial to well-being, as they contribute to physical and material comfort and quality of life. Now, quality of life is one of the major, most vast concept which defines the avenues of creating a favorable mental state of an individual, and by which it also creates a basic foundation for an individual in order to enhance his confidence and to make the individual that to think in the direction that he or she can contribute towards the development of the society by way of playing and participating role in various developmental activities at different levels of the societal development process. This is a diagrammatic representation of human development, and these are the four basic indicators. Next, we have basic amenities whose access needs to be improvement. Access to the first point is access to drinking water facility. A huge divide between urban and rural India in terms of access to drinking water, a key indicator for development. In India, still 40% of rural households in India lack access to drinking water, and 20% of urban households in India lack access to drinking water, though the government is playing an active role and is now changing various policy and implementing number of policies to ensure that the drinking water facility is reaches to every nook and corner and to every person living in any area of the nation. Access to quality housing. The right to adequate housing is recognized as a basic human right. Flagship scheme of Government of India in this regard is Indira Awas Yojana. And in spite of this, there is housing shortage in rural India too. Access to drainage arrangement. Good health is closely related to the status of water supply and drainage, and hence special and immediate attention towards drainage arrangement in house is needed in rural area. Access to sanitation facility. The lack of adequate sanitation is pressing challenge in rural India. Improving access to sanitation is therefore appropriately included in Millennium Development Goals. Lack of adequate sanitation forces household to use open space for defecation, which is an acute problem especially for women and young girls. Access to electricity. Use of domestic for domestic purpose. Although official estimates indicate that 85% of Indian villages are electrified, fewer than 60% of Indian households actually consume electricity. Today, there is a new emphasis on making sure rural households have access to adopt electricity. Household electrification depends on household characteristics, the degree of community electrification, and the quality of electricity supply. Until recently, the main policy has been to extend the grid to villages and rural areas in order to emphasize productive usage of agriculture. There have been several initiatives, plans, and programs in India to improve the access to basic amenities. Now we move into the another important concept which is known as nutritional status, and it is a means to measure of health condition of an individual as affected primarily by the intake of food and utilization of nutrients. Good nutritional status can also be realized and sustained when individuals within families and communities are food secure. Nutrition is one of the important components of human resource development. A well nourished, healthy workforce is a precondition for sustainable development. Healthier people can transform their energy into productivity and more efficiently than undernourished people. Nutrition plays a critical role in human resource development since deficiencies in essential nutrients lead to malnutrition, which affects an individual's mental, physical state, resulting in poor health and poor work performance. Better health and nutrition can immediately increase the worker's current strength, energy, ability to concentrate on job, and thereby increase the productivity of workers. Now we have another concept which is known as population composition, because as we know, the quality of population, the population within the geographical demographic boundaries of the nation plays a decisive role in defining the extent and nature of employment as well as the extent and nature of demand of the community resources, and thereby make the people to look into how they can utilize the available population in the best possible manner, or we can say the resources available within the geographical demographic boundaries of the nation to the fuller extent possible. Population composition refers to the structure of population, and it helps to know the number of males or females, their age group, literacy, their occupation, their income level, and health conditions. The composition of population helps us to know how many are males or females, which age group they belong to, and how educated they are, and what type of occupation they are employed in, what their income levels and the health condition are. These data are often compared over time using population pyramids. Now, what are population pyramids? We will be discussing this concept in the later stage. First, we must be able to understand what is sex composition, because it is one of the major indicator of the population composition, which help us to frame various policies in the interest of the society. The ratio between the number of women and men in population is called the sex ratio. And in India, the sex ratio is the number of females per 1,000 males. And the formula goes like this. The sex ratio is equal to female population divided by male population multiplied by 1,000. In some countries, it is calculated by the formula, the sex ratio, the male population divided by female population into 1,000. The sex ratio is unfavorable to women in areas where the practice of female infanticides, female feticides, and domestic violence against them are prevalent. One of the reasons for low sex ratio could be lower socio-economic status of women. Lower socio-economic status of women. A high sex ratio does not necessarily mean that women have better position. It may be due to the migration of men to other areas of employment. Out of 201 countries or region estimated by United Nations, 125 have more females than males. 14 countries have male ratio less than 90 and 41 has less than 95. Age structure. It represents the number of people of different age groups, large size of the population. In the age group of 15 to 59 represent large working population, while the greater portion of the population over 60 years indicate the aging population. The age structure is an important indicator of the population composition. The age sex pyramid refers to the number of female and males in different age groups of a population. The age sex pyramid is shown with the help of the population pyramid, and its shape gives us the characteristics whether the population is expanding, constant, or declining. The percentage of male is shown to the left side of the percentage and the female is shown at the right side. Now this is the expanding population and characterized by a triangular shape of the pyramid. The triangular shape of the pyramid with a wide base, and this is typically less developed countries like Nigeria, Bangladesh, or Mexico, and these countries have large population in lower age group due to high birth rate. In lower age group due to high birth rate. Constant population characterized by a bell-shaped pyramid. It's top tapered. This shows birth and the death rates are almost equal, resulting in near to constant population. That the population is growing at a constant rate. Declining population, it's characterized by a narrow-based tapered top showing low birth and death. The population growth in developed countries is usually 0 or negative. The rural-urban population. Classification of population into rural and urban is based on residence, that is the place of dwelling. The age-sex occupational structure, population density, and the level of development vary between rural and urban areas. Generally, rural areas are those where people are engaged in primary activities, that is the agriculture, and in urban region, the majority of working population is engaged in the non-primary activities, that is the secondary and the tertiary sector of the economy. In the Western countries, the male outnumber females in rural areas, and in the urban areas, female outnumber the males. The reverse holds true for the countries like Nepal, Pakistan, and India. The higher population of female in urban areas of the Western countries is due to the influx of female from rural areas to avail the vast job opportunities. Farming in these countries usually male dominated. In Asian urban areas, the male outnumber the female due to the predominance of male migration. In rural areas, female actively participate in farming activities. Shortage of housing, high cost of living, paucity of job opportunities, and lack of security in cities discourage women to migrate from rural to urban centers. That creates imbalance in the occupational distribution of the population as far as the agricultural activities are concerned. The occupational structure, the working population in the number of women and men of the age group of 15 to 59. This working population takes part in various occupations ranging from agriculture, forestry, fishing, manufacturing, construction, commercial transport, service sector, and communication and other unclassified services. Primary activities majorly include the agriculture activities and allied activities related to agriculture. The secondary sector include manufacturing, trade, transport, etc. Whereas the third sector, tertiary sector, is basically includes the service sector. The job related to research, information, technology, and development come under the tertiary or quaternary activities. The proportion of the working population engaged in these four sectors indicates the level of economic development of a nation. And if the economy of a country is in its primitive stage, then the proportion of people engaged in the primary sector would be higher. As it is involved in extraction of natural resources, a developed nation can accommodate workers in secondary, tertiary, as well as the quaternary sector. The factors affecting population distribution are the majorly discussed: the geographical factor, the social factors, cultural factors, and economic factors. The geographical factors like the topography, climate, soil, water, minerals, these are the major factors that affect the population distribution. The people prefer living on plains rather than plateaus and mountains, since these are areas are suitable for agriculture, manufacturing, and also service activities. The Ganga plains are one of the most densely populated areas of the world, whereas the mountains like Alps, Andes, and Himalayas are thinly populated. People generally stay away from the extreme climates, that is very cold or very hot, like the Sahara Desert, the Russian polar region, Canada, and Antarctica. Fertile soil offer optimal land for farming. Fertile plains like Brahmaputra, the Ganga in India, the Nile in Egypt, Wang He, and Changjiang in China are highly populated. People prefer to live in those places where fresh water is easily available. So the river valleys are densely populated and the desert have less population. Places with deposit of minerals are naturally more populated. Diamond mines of South Africa and discovery of oil in the Middle East led to people settling down in these areas. In India, the areas of Chota Nagpur Plateau in Jharkhand and nearby areas of Odisha see high population distribution because of the presence of huge deposits of minerals. Other factors affecting population distribution can be discussed. Social, cultural, and economic factor, whereas the areas with better housing, health facilities, and education are more populated. Example, Pune. Better transport facilities also contribute to the increase in population of any region. Cultural, as far as cultural factor is concerned, places with culture or and religious import attracts people. For example, Varanasi, Jerusalem, and Vatican City. Economic, industrial areas offer employment opportunities. A large number of people make their way into these areas. For example, Mumbai in India and Osaka in Japan. What is demographic dividend? And we are now approaching to the last penultimate topic of the lecture. The demographic dividend, as per the United Nations Population Fund, UNPF, the demographic dividend is the economic growth potential resulting out of changing population age structure with a large section of people in working age group of 15 years to 64 years as compared to non-working age population below 14 years and above 65 years. The demographic dividend causes are change in population structure, which occurs due to falling birth rate, low fertility rate, and increased longevity. Falling birth rate and lower fertility rate will contribute to a reduction in expenditure. Increased longevity will lead to an increase in the size of working age population. Demographic dividend, the opportunities as far as possible. India will have the youngest workforce in the world with a median age much lower than China and other developed countries. The other countries will have a higher population of proportion of population which is not in working age group, which will result in shortage of manpower to the tune of 56 million. Indian workforce can fill this gap in India and abroad and result in greater economic growth. Now, here comes the point where the skill enhancement needs to be taken utmost care by the institutions, with the higher institution providing various higher training to the professional, and the institution playing their active role in the higher education also. During the period of demographic dividend, the personal savings will grow, which means greater purchasing power, which can lead to the growth of economy. And therefore, everybody is well aware of the fact that it is the demand which automatically creates the investment. Higher the demand, the higher the ability of the individual to purchase, to consume. Higher the purchasing power of the individual, the higher will be the rate of investment also. So therefore, it will always play a decisive role in providing a firm foundation to the nation like India, if we are able to take control of this demographic dividend with the utmost care. Demographic dividend measures to be taken by India to reap benefits: increase in spending on health, increase spending on education, increase investment in research and development, and invest more in skill development. So these four important points, these four important aspects highlights the most crucial steps and policy needed to be taken care by the policymakers and must be implemented. A mechanism must be transparent. The mechanism must be accountable, which will definitely pave the way for the development of the nation, and we will be among the topmost nations of the world as far as the development of the individual potential is concerned. Demographic dividend, why they are important? It's very important. Historically, demographic dividend has contributed up to 15% of overall growth in advanced economies. It helps in increasing the workforce, thereby will be rapid urbanization and industrialization. It leads to more investment in physical and human structure. The most important aspect, in between the lines, it is highlighting the fact that how the quality of human resource will definitely increase the level of investment, thereby leading to having a multiplier impact on all the allied sectors of the economy. The productivity of the country's economy increases due to increased labor force, employability, as well as the employability is concerned, as well as the income resource is concerned, as well as the investment is concerned. This rate of savings will also increase. So when saving, or we can say the capital formation will increase, it will lead to create a resource base for the society. Dividend will help in witnessing a massive shift towards the middle class society, and thereby they will be the movers of the wheel of the development of the economy to the extent possible. Thank you.